here on the Kiwi. Time now, 14 minutes past 8.
Issues of the day under T-Radar.
Let's talk issues indeed. T-Radar's with us this morning. Morning, T-Radar.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well. It actually just felt like a long time since we spoke.
It's only a week.
It's only been a week, but it feels like a long time because it's amazing when you go and step outside your normal routine and do something out of the ordinary for you. The days go much longer,
Don't they? It's like, I guess, literally like being on holiday.
and that's exactly what I felt like when I
Gosh,
spent
you
some
really
time
are
in Hamner.
refreshed, aren't you?
I feel really good, actually. To tell you the truth.
They've always said that it's a magical place down there in Hamner,
It is.
and clearly you're living testament to that.
I'm the walking proof.
Do you know that, because taking the waters was always a really big thing, and in the sort of early turn of the century, the government was very keen on setting up sort of, spa resorts so that people from Europe could come down and experience the joy of our spas.
Yeah.
That's essentially why they built Rotorua.
Yeah.
That was a disaster. No one wanted to go there because not only did you have to spend 6 months sailing here, but when you got to Rotorua, the government Baleanologist who set it up said the greatest danger to people in Rotorua or going there would be boredom. He said they could quite possibly die of boredom. Not anymore.
No.
And what's the one up north of Auckland there? Wairera.
That's right.
People would go up there on the boat and they would take the waters and then they would stroll the beaches picking up bones from Maori battles, and they were encouraged to do that because it was a site of a lot of battles because it was called, I think it was called the Doctor or something, the healing waters, and so a lot of battles were fought there, and that was considered to be an ordinary afternoon's fun and entertainment.
Oh, but that stuff would be taboo, wouldn't it?
Well, you'd think so. Different times, I suppose.
Yeah. Be interesting to find out what happened to those people who picked up the bones.
Well, yes, I guess there was probably hundreds of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some of the issues of the day.
Minties.
Minties.
Oh, because those are probably minty moments, aren't they? Well, not really. No, they're not at all.
What did you make of the new Minties ad? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's
I didn't know there was a new ad.
It's the 09 version, and they try to cram... it's all animated as opposed to the actual footage of stuff.
Yes.
And it's kind of like classic Kiwi moments of tomfoolery. But they've tried to cram too much into
Maybe I
space
have
30
seen
seconds.
it, but clearly it hasn't stuck with me. It's kind of Minties 3.0, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, I must go. Maybe it'll be on the interweb. I'll have a look at it. But they've changed them. They've moved the manufacturing of minties to Thailand, and they've changed the nature of the minty. No longer do you bite in, you get, what about 2 millimetres through softness, and then you got to that hard core.
Yeah.
Now, they're soft and chewy and less minty-like.
So the whole thing is soft?
Yes. Yes. The key, apparently, they said, is the moisture content. And they said that, this is the spokesman from Cadbury's, the makers of minties. He says, since we began selling the softer minties, we've had a number of people contact us to thank us for making them easier to chew.
Have they?
I don't want my minty to be easier to chew. That was the joy of the minty.
Yeah.
You wanted to chew it, but you couldn't. Too hard.
What is it with the new generation of Minties eaters?
I don't know. But they've sent, what else have they sent? The minties off to Thailand. They've sent the mint imperials and the curiously strong mints. One has to wonder, will the curiously strong mints remain curiously strong? I don't know.
So they've obviously changed the manufacturing process.
Yes, they have. They've changed it to increase the moisture content and to make them softer.
Yeah. But
why?
When did you have minties, generally? I mean, was there a particular situation you'd be having your minty?
That was sort of in many ways my sweet of choice if I was buying some confectionery.
Yeah.
Always liked a minty. And the thing, you remember when they got soft because you left them in the car too long?
Yeah, well, for me, it was always on long car journeys.
Yes, the perfect thing. And the beauty of them was they lasted a very long time.
Yeah.
And a packet of minties, you don't go through those in a hurry because, they're too chewy.
Well, now you will.
Now you will.
Is that the ploy?
It's bad for a number of reasons.
Is that what's going on here?
I guess
Buy
it
more
is.
minties.
Could well be.
I wonder if they're doing the usual Cadbury thing where you reduce the size of it without anyone noticing.
Yes. And I don't know whether you'd be using them to reward your children now, because obviously they're going to be able to eat them faster, thus they'll get the obesity that you're probably giving them chores to wear off.
Yeah, well, which you might need to, because apparently that's very good for them.
Look, there's a study that's just come out in the UK that says chores are very important for giving children a caring attitude, for developing empathy, all of that kind of thing. They say, in earlier generations, children and adolescents, they were given meaningful opportunities to be responsible by contributing not only to their households but to their larger communities. communities. Nowadays, I don't really have any children around my house, but we sort of reward children with pocket money and all of that for doing chores, or we bribe them to do them, whereas in the past it was just do your chores. I'm thinking, that is a good thing. Maybe I need to recruit some children, a small Albanian boy of some kind, and say, boy, here's some chores.
Boy, I like to say, boy.
Boy. It's a wonderful thing. I can't wait to have some children so I can say, boy. Even if they're girls. Boy. Great. It's like boarding school, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that what as parents, right? That's what your kids are for, right? To basically start doing that stuff around the house that you don't want to do.
No, like making eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
That would be good.
You train your kid up to do eggs.
Wouldn't it be
do
good?
A really good poached egg.
Oh, I reckon it'd be one of the first things I train my kid to do. The poached egg and the cup of tea.
And then you go and sell them off to do it. You hire them off.
Could do. Child labour.
Yeah.
And it's not child labour, it's developing a caring and empathetic attitude.
Yeah.
It would be marvellous.
Of course, you can't beat them into submission.
No, you can't, no. And the French, of course, they're, as we have done, proposing a bill to ban corporal punishment. And I think one of the greatest arguments in support of that has come from a National Assembly member and a paediatrician in France, Edwige Antier. And they say smacking children makes them more sly and aggressive and increases lying.
I could agree with that.
Yes.
You don't want to be smacked, so you're gonna do and say things.
Yes, that's right. You're going to sort of weasel your way out of it.
Yep.
Be belligerent and say, no, that didn't happen. Whereas if there's an alternate form of punishment, you might just say, well, I did do it.
Yeah,
I don't really understand that. I mean, what if it's a choice between a smack and, I guess, having your PlayStation taken off you for a couple of days? Children, what are they going to go for?
That's the modern thing, isn't it?
It is.
Take the PlayStation away, but in the past it was probably take the gollywog away.
It probably was. And now you can give the gollywog back. There's a retail chain in, I think it's Australian, selling gollywogs, ranging in price from $79.99 to $149.99. In fact, they're selling them at St Luke's, a mall here in Auckland.
No.
Yes, and they're saying that they don't call them gollywogs now, they just call them gollies, because the term wog is offensive. But nonetheless, they're proving quite popular. People are buying them, and the guy who's selling them there at St Luke's, he says, in many ways, they're no more of a caricature than Barbie is, and if people find a golly offensive, he says, no doubt there are people who find Barbie offensive, and indeed he is correct at that.
Surely, wouldn't the Human Rights Commission have something to
Well, I
say
suppose
about
if they're
this?
just called gollies, don't know.
Yeah, but so there'll be a black doll, yeah?
Yes, yes.
They're like the classic.
Yes.
Will it be like the noddy gollywog?
It is, with and there's a photograph of one of them, and he's got beady little sideways-looking eyes and a large sort of afro haircut and the big red lips and a red striped T-shirt and a blue jacket on. Quite attractive-looking doll, but, is it offensive? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it probably is, really.
I guess so.
But
then Barbie's offensive as well, isn't it? Because of, they say that it creates a totally unrealistic sort of proportion for a woman. And young girls who are brought up with these dolls will never be able to look like Barbie, thankfully, and they'll obviously become psychologically traumatized.
I think it's probably offensive in its original purpose.
Could well be.
See, I don't think Barbie was out there to create some kind of ideal.
Well, clearly it
thing
hasn't worked
for
in America.
Young girls to aspire to.
Has it?
It's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But the original purpose, I think, of the Gollywog was to make fun, really,
yes,
wasn't it?
I think it was. Yes.
I had someone asked me last week. They said, "Can you think of a children's book that really scared you? A picture book that really scared you?" And the first thing that came to my mind was a Noddy story.
Good Lord!
It was the story of Noddy being robbed and stripped naked and left in the dark forest all alone.
Oh.
While the Gollywogs went off in his car.
Good Lord. And did they strip him naked and leave him alone in the forest?
Yes, they did.
Well, I'm not surprised that people found that offensive.
Well, I didn't find it offensive. It just freaked me out.
Right. Do you have, like, a fear of gollywogs now?
Well, maybe.
It's like that clown phobia. Carulophobia or something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
So that came up, a couple of weeks ago. A woman at the Labour Department, they were having a party. Everyone was going to dress as clown. She went, I'm clown phobic. You've got to take the posters down and change the nature of the party. Tell you where, there's going to be a good party soon.
No, but hang on, wait. I'm not one to say PC gone man, but that...
it's a phobia. It's a recognised phobia.
Don't go to the party.
Yeah. But I tell you what, the best thing about it that happened in the Labour Department, where they always have to deal with things like that. Marvellous.
Yeah. What were you going to say? What's the big
party? Party time, Antarctica.
Yes, what's happening there?
A group of New Zealanders, they're drilling for whiskey.
Are they?
In Antarctica.
What? Whiskey?
Yes, I know. I went, good Lord, no wonder they're trying to keep people away from the pole. But turns out Shackleton, when he abandoned his unsuccessful 1909 attempt to get to the pole, 2 crates of the now extinct rare old brand McKinley & Co. whiskey were left down there. Now they're buried under ice, and some enterprising New Zealanders are going to use special drills to free the trapped crates and rescue a bottle for scientific purposes.
Indeed, I would...
Scientific purposes.
Yes, right, sure. Just to see how it's matured.
That's right, yes. Disappointingly, the guy who's the sort of the Antarctic Heritage Trust program manager, Al Festia, he said we don't want to sample the contents. It's better to imagine it than to taste it. That way, it keeps it a mystery.
Good on him.
I couldn't disagree more.
Yes.
But nonetheless, there they are. Imagine that, going down to Antarctica and drilling for whiskey.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would taste like.
Oh.